Hello everyone, welcome to the Life of a Pastor's Kid with your girl Nyumbere, and today we have an amazing guest who is going to tell us his story and how his life has been as a pastor's kid growing up. And without much ado, ladies and gentlemen, so tell us your name.
Yes, my name is Moses Oihura, and my father is the senior pastor of Deliverance Church Kahasukari. He's called Reverend Dr. Peterson Wangombe.
Yeah. And which church do you fellowship at?
I fellowship in Sitam Thika Road. Christ is the Answer Ministries in Thika Road. It is located in Pan-African Christian University in Roysambu.
Oh, that's amazing. Why are you not in the same church with your parents?
At some point I rebelled against them, so I stopped church completely. But now I began looking for a church that was not too far away, and not too close home. So that was the perfect.
Can you now tell us about that rebellion? We need to know that because many pastors' kids feel that they are pressured to actually fit into the societal standard that has been set for them, and now they feel like they cannot come out from the place that they are at. Yeah. Now, can you tell us how you have overcome it?
Yeah, so it's a story. It began in high school when I transitioned from a boarding school to a day school within the estate. So there I began really entering into the secular world through, first of all, secular music, hip-hop music, which I used to love a lot. So me getting into the secular music, wanting even to go to the studio and rap, and even write lyrics online, really got me deep into that.
So you were a rapper at that moment?
Yes, I was.
In high school?
I began being a rap artist.
Oh, okay. What made you to start rapping,
Me listening to secular hip-hop, I got interested in the technical beat, about the poetry, and the lifestyle. So that really got me to it. And I also had a friend who introduced me to it. He was very good at it. So we used to go to the studio to record some tracks. So that's where I actually got the influence of living the secular life, abusing drugs and partying.
Can you tell us about that, taking drugs and drinking alcohol and all that?
So going back a little bit, I changed school from a boarding school, which was Kiambu High School, and I went to a day school, which is called Kadmio Maurice Otunga School, within Kahasukari. And me making that transition was because I did not enjoy being in a place that was confined. A place where you're told when to get up, you're told when to sleep, you have morning preps.
You just wanted your freedom, you don't want all that pressure.
Yes, I just wanted my freedom. That's why I opted to go for a day mixed.
Oh, okay. Now at the day school you were exposed. It's not like in boarding school where the resources were limited in terms of exposure, So how did that affect you?
Yeah, so in a day school we used to have a bar that was very close by, and we also used to party in Kenyatta University, in KM. So those were places that were very accessible, and I also used to have money, my own pocket money, which I used to steal here and there. So I had my money to go and drink. I had my money to get high if I wanted to, because we even had a peddling class.
Whoa.
Yeah, so why not?
How did your parents feel about that? Or did they even notice about your drug problem or something?
At that point I was fresh in it. They noticed it later on in university. At that point they just maybe thought that this boy is coming back home late. Because he was with his friends and the stories zikashika sana, so akafika late. Hakuwa anajua, they didn't really focus in on what is this substance that this boy has maybe smoked or drunk. Because I used to consume it very much. You just get a picking and chew, or you just enter the house and then unatulia. So so I'm very good at concealing when I'm high as well.
So I need to hear that full story now from from high school to the university. How was the transition?
So in high school, I used to get high only as a form of recreation. So I do it, and it helps me maybe spice up my conversations with my friends. Because when you're high on weed, the stories are very funny, and they're more entertaining. Also, going to the studio and rapping, alcohol gives you that confidence, and it helps you fit in also with your friends. And also just going out, having that party life, not really beginning to rave, but for me it was just a way of escaping also from the normality of having to work hard in school, having to be disciplined, and having to stick to the rules of a pastor's kid.
So basically you used drugs and alcohol to escape the reality of being a pastor's kid. Did you feel like it was kind of a pressure, a burden to you being a pastor's kid?
It is actually slightly burdensome being a pastor's kid. Because when, even in the church setting, you have your friends who socialize, and from a distance you can tell that they are having a lot of fun in their conversations. They're laughing, their conversations are entertaining, but when you get close to them, it's like they totally switch.
Like they feel like you are a young pastor, you are a pastor yourself.
Yes, they feel like you're a reverend or something.
Oh, okay. Now they have to change the story because they don't want to be judged or something. But for you just wanted to be a part of them.
Yes.
So now you decided to invent a way of actually fitting in those groups.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you're high, first of all, you're a teenager in high school, you look cool.
Yeah.
So people drop their guards a lot, sana.
Yeah.
So when they see you coming, they associate you with maybe the mzinga that you drank, ama the flash and you chap a flying horse, ama blue moon. Or they associate you with being this weed guy or being this rap artist.
So they forget about the pastor's kid bit.
Yeah.
And for you that it was a relief, like, oh, I needed this,
Yeah, you feel like you're fitting in, you feel like you're being accepted by the people.
Oh, okay. And how did it go in the university?
So in high school, I used to do it as I've stated it, for the various reasons. And it didn't get to a very bad point. It only slightly got me in trouble when the principal noticed me and my friends escaping from school to get high.
Yeah.
And he called us to the office, and one of my friends dismissed him, saying that the smell of alcohol that you're noticing is actually a roll-on.
Okay, because now there are roll-ons that smell like alcohol.
Exactly.
Okay.
Maybe I have some really nice colognes that smell like alcohol.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know how I'm sure he read between the lines.
Yeah.
But we never got caught because there was no evidence. Again, in the morning I used to come with my friend and go behind the school. There was a shamba, go and smoke weed and come back to class high. And even during the lessons, instead of smoking up, which we used to do once in a while at lunchtime, you go to a particular place, maybe behind the class, and you smoke and then come back to class. We used to, you remove the weed from its concealment, and then you unatafuna chemical ndani. So it gives you a good high. It lasts for a longer period of time.
Than the smoke.
Yeah, than the smoke, and then you don't get noticed.
Oh, okay, because it doesn't smell.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And also we used to have this kuber that people put here.
Oh.
Yeah.
You also did that?
Yes, I was introduced to that. It was like a cigarette. It's something it doesn't get you very high, it gives you a slight head rush. So we didn't see it as being dangerous much.
Okay.
Also Mira, those things we used to do.
Yeah. Okay, now when you transited to the university, was something different, or did you continue doing the drugs or something?
So in university, things got worse. They got worse even from the onset because I had some dreadlocks.
Yeah.
You can't just twist them. And one of the requirements of going to this university at the river was you had to have a clean shaven head if you were a guy. So I was the only one in school with dreadlocks.
So you were very conspicuous. Everyone would know that.
Yes,
that's
the guy with dreadlocks. Yes. Yes, and I didn't care about it because no authority called me in to the office to ask me why I go and shave them. So for me, it was a good way to stand out as well. Yes.
Now tell me about that university period.
Okay. So in university, things got a bit worse because unlike high school where you're not getting your money and you're not stealing hapa na pale, unapatiwa pocket money in university to survive. Si mzuri sana, but enough to get you what you want. So I got introduced into the party life. Because now you're in university, you can rave overnight and all that. So we used to do that, we used to drink a lot. And that's where my addiction spiraled out of control. So I became...
You couldn't do without drugs.
Yeah, every morning I used to get out of school to smoke cigarettes. And in the afternoon, smoke weed, and then go back. So I used to skip a lot of classes, my performance was very low. And my body actually became frail, and I was weakened by these drugs.
And how did, did you not feel like you were doing the wrong thing? You didn't get that feeling that whatever I'm doing is not right?
Well, at university, at that point, I don't remember feeling any guilt. I don't remember, because for me, this escapism got to a point where I actually started seeing Christians as people that they don't want you to enjoy life.
Oh.
So for me,
you're talking about Christians, but you still come from actually a pastor's household.
Yes.
How did you actually how did you feel like why did you feel like Christianity was, hindering you from enjoying your life?
Because these Christians, you go to and you try and tell them about your party life. First of all, they act like it's a normal thing. They play along with you, lakini they start avoiding you a little bit. So nikaanza kuona ni kama niatia kidogo. I just wanted to enjoy life. Yes, at that point there was no guilt. There was nothing.
You weren't feeling anything.
No. I was just to enjoy.
So it's like you had turned off the switch, or you had turned off the switch of feeling that conflict of nature. Yeah, you didn't want to feel it at some point. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. To a certain degree. I had stopped listening to sermons. I had stopped going to the chapel to praise and worship. I had stopped going to church. I had stopped praying.
It was a deliberate action.
So it was a free fall. So I didn't have a conscience at that point in time. And also the drugs, they kind of make you lose that conscience. And whenever you're feeling guilty, you actually feel like it comes as a craving. It comes as a craving for you to go and drink alcohol or do something like that.
Oh, okay. So how did you come to turn around? Because I know right now you don't look like a drug addict at all. So how did you come and turn around and decide to do the right thing and be born again or something?
Yeah. So getting drunk and getting high in university landed me in a number of problems. I got arrested severally, and the good thing about Test University at the River campus is they have an alliance with the cops that are around even the estate, such that when you're caught, you are not taken to cell. You record a statement and then you go back to school. That statement is forwarded to the administration, which I didn't know. So I had a number of cases. I was caught first of all with a friend who was caught trying to make withdrawals in the club, and I was with him. So we were charged for that. Yes, we wrote our statement. It was taken to school. So that is the first one. The second one was we had broken into an apartment building and jumped into the swimming pool and stolen the clothes from the hanging line. And then we got caught and wrote a statement.
That audacity was from the drugs, right? I think so.
We were drunk. And then the club was close to this place.
Okay.
So we asked ourselves, we're not going to have a swim. And it was around 10, 11 p.m. the night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was the second one. The third one was I was caught breaking into the school through gate C at night, because Daystar tries to discourage people getting drunk and coming back drunk. So they close the gates at around 9 p.m. at night, or I think, it's 9 p.m. at night, and they open it at 6 a.m. in the morning. So when you're a rebel like that, and maybe you don't even have a place to sleep, so at around 2 a.m., 3 a.m., you want to go and sleep. So we used to break into the school compound, and go to our dorms and sleep. So I got caught, and I also wrote a statement, and it was forwarded to the Senate. So those are the three issues I got caught with. And I think there were around 5 cases of me just being a rebel and acting out of the addiction. Yeah.
So did you finish your education in this time?
So when I was summoned by the Senate and these cases presented before me, first of all, before it began, I actually got out and went and smoked weed, and then I came back to the.
You had the audacity.
Yes, I didn't feel anything about it. I had to relax.
Yeah.
So that was my way.
Okay, you wanted to relax so that you can be able to have a mature conversation.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
So I came back very high and trying to lie to these people, trying to tell them that they don't make sense. And actually one of them noticed I was high. So to cut the story short, they told me to go home because I'm high. I'm not in a state of mind where I can reason with grown-up men. Let me go home and then a letter will be written and I'll be told the way forward. Yeah. So I was dismissed from school on a suspension. I was told that after a month, a letter will be written and I'll be told the way forward.
So what happened?
So I went home and I continued this habit of getting.
Did your parents know that you were suspended?
Yes, they got notified, and all these stories of how I used to behave, they reached them. So they were very disappointed. And
did they have a talk with you? Did they sit you down and talk to you about this?
Yeah, they were asking me, do you do drugs, Moses? And I used to lie to them, point blank. I told them, no, I've never done it, and I'll never do drugs.
Wow. Looking at your father, I have never done drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And you know that you're lying.
Maybe at that point I was high even.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask, there is no any church member that know that story?
Church members, I don't think so. But there reached a point where when I was at home, I used to just walk around the estate smoking a cigarette. Yeah, and I used to be seen maybe at night with my friends, my drunk friends, which stories. So at that point, I think the story was already out there.
So, okay, now I need to understand. So did you go back to Daystar or what happened?
So what transpired is when I was at home, now my father realized that the pocket money he's giving me is going to drugs. So he decided to cut giving me pocket money. And that's where things got bad. Because now I don't have a source of money to spend on these drugs. So the withdrawal effects can show up.
Because you're not getting the drugs that you used to.
Yes, and they show up in arguments, senseless arguments with my parents and my siblings. So they began to realize that this guy could be going crazy.
So you were kind of a slave to drugs that time?
I was a full-blown addict at that point. Yeah. And the reason why I did not go back to university is because my father, because he had ties with Testing University, because he did his master's there, and as a church leader, there are several church leaders that are in the leadership of Testing University. So even in the Senate, when I was trying to be inquired about the events that transpired, they treated me as a son, not as a normal student. That's why I was not completely chased out of the university. And when a university expels you, they will send that message to other universities, so you won't be able to go back to study. Masomo yako itaishia hapo.
Unless you go to another country or something.
Unless you go to another country.
Okay.
And even if you go to another country, my friend, those letters will still read that it will be part of you. Like your education takuimisha hapo. Not unless maybe now you go to a private university that don't care about morals, which I don't know how many of them exist.
So how did you now decide, okay, now drugs I cannot do anymore. I need to change.
So my parents, through the leadership, tried to persuade me to go back to Daystar. And I also was taken to see a counselor, a counseling psychologist, trying to persuade me to go back to school. But I was like, my rap can pay me enough. If I can reach to a point.
Let me chase this money. I can rap, bana. Mimi naweza rap.
And the most successful people, they don't go to college.
They didn't go to college. So you are trying to compare yourself with them. Wow. Okay.
And I didn't see the use for education at that point.
Wow.
I completely didn't care about anything. Yeah.
I can only imagine what your mind was, processing and all that, trying to tell you that I know I don't need you guys, I can be independent. Yeah?
Yes. And also not sleeping at home sometimes getting home late, getting home drunk and having serious arguments with my parents. So at that point they realized that this boy, there's something wrong. So they decided to take a stern action. Yeah.
Now I need to know that story of you getting born again.
Okay, so I was taken to a rehabilitation center. At that point when my parents took stern action.
Hi, I'm Moses. Hi, Moses.
Yes.
Oh, you did that?
Yes, I did that.
I usually think it's a movie thing. Actually, it's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Okay, well, how was your experience there? I need to know.
So, how I got to a rehab, my parents, they brought a government official who came with police officers.
Yeah.
Because I was hard-headed. I was niliakwa pingu because I was resisting and arguing with them. So I was put in the car and I was taken to the rehab center. So it was forceful. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. So I went there. Total, in summary, I stayed for 3 months and 1 week there. And there, the counseling psychologist that used to come to see me was a born-again Christian. So I gave my life to Christ while in the rehabilitation center.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. So how was that journey from, being a drug addict, now you're giving your life to Christ? How was that transition?
When in the rehab, because I used to read the Bible, because there's nothing much you're doing there, and going to your classes and being taught about the 12 steps, and also through giving my life to Christ, the Holy Spirit kind of began convicting me of the things that I used to do. They were wrong, there were things that hurt people, and I should mend that relationship with my parents and my family. So at that point, I made a decision to stop using drugs, because my counseling psychologist also told me that he was also an addict of weed, and he had stayed for 10 years without smoking. So I actually saw, wow, I can do this. I can do this. And while there, through salvation and reading the word, I was like, after I get out of here, I need to go back to university and finish my course. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So how has been the journey then?
So I got out, and the journey was a bit tough because there are a number of things I got into. But God's grace kept me on the road.
Yeah.
So I got out and I joined Kenyatta University to do a different course, to do a Bachelor of Public Policy and Administration.
Okay.
And I completed it within 4 years. Yes, because I was very focused.
Yeah. This
So
time you decided I have to do this. I'm doing this.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, but I was not a very serious Christian.
Okay.
So when you get out of rehab,
yeah,
you're not completely set free from whatever you're doing, because these things are free for you.
they're everywhere.
Yeah, and at that point, I had manipulated my parents to give me a lot of money. Because now I'm focused, I'm in school, you need to give me money to survive. So I got into whiskey testing. I loved whiskey.
Okay.
And I could.
Okay.
When you taste, you put whiskey on a glass. First of all, you sniff it, and then you get the notes. They're called the notes. And then you taste it. You taste one sip, and then you identify which part of the tongue reacts to it. So you can tell it's a smoky taste, it's a sweet taste, it's cherry. So that is what
I don't understand anything, but I'll try catch up.
Yes. Because I realized that now nilikuwa natumia makali, nimesha makali. Sasa
there is this expensive,
lazima tu upgrade, kidogo.
Okay. Hata hiyo whiskey ni kwa glass specific.
Yes, I used to have that whiskey.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
For grants, you buy that grants, so you buy your glass. So you buy that kila wakati kwa hiyo.
Wow.
I had a place in the room where I used to store them. So these different brands of whiskey, I had begun loving it.
Yeah.
And also I began getting into hip hop now seriously, recording.
Yeah.
So I actually recorded an album
Yeah.
while still in university. And I didn't realize that I was addicted to alcohol because now I was out of weed.
Yeah.
Weed ilifika point nikasema hii kitu imeharibu.
Yeah.
So now why not alcohol? So, and also doing hip hop. So the whiskey got to a point whereby I didn't know I was addicted still.
Yeah.
So there was a time my parents were out of the house and I actually nikamaliza mzinga mzima ya the whiskey and I collapsed on the floor. In the morning nikajipata asubuhi hapo 8 a.m. na mlango iko open. So I think and the whiskey was not there. So I think what had happened, that's when I noticed I had a serious problem of alcohol. So what had happened, I think my bro, he took away that mzinga, akaificha pahali, maybe to present to my dad later. So after my dad came, akaniuliza, hey, Moses, you're not yet through with this lifestyle. So I realized, I really need to change things. I need to change things because now I'm getting into depression and I'm getting back to drugs. So I stopped drinking alcohol at that point. Sasa bado sijamaliza university, but I'm around third year. So when I was in third year, when I joined third year first semester, something very serious happened. I lost a friend that was my age, and I came to realize that he was a very serious and dedicated Christian. Everybody used to talk about how much of an impact he's had in their lives, and he had done so many things in church. He had actually preached once, I think, my dad gave him the platform, and he was one of my best friends. So I got into a very dark place in my life, and I realized that I need to change my lifestyle. I need to stop listening to secular music, recording secular hip hop. I need to stop smoking cigarettes. I had stopped weed, but cigarettes I was still smoking. But I was smoking expensive cigarettes, I mean, Marlboro and Mercy. So the devil quotes things and show like you're not an addict, yes, but you can live a higher class lifestyle, but it's addiction.
It's addiction still.
So I dedicated my life to Christ, and I realized I need to focus on education. So that's when I got to church. I got to sit up the road, Presidents and Ministries. I got active in ministry. And I got active, I joined an organization called Toastmasters International, where you learn how to grow your leadership and communication skills. And really focused on that, and really focused on my studies. So within a short period of time, I had graduated from university. And that's like a testimony of the transformation that Christ has in you. Because after I lost my friend, I rededicated my life to Christ, and I asked the Holy Spirit to come in my life. And from that point on, I began going to church and growing friendships, meaningful friendships that were not there previously. And everything now began working out. Doors began opening.
Guys, we are running out of time, but I know that we have to have Moses again here for a part 2, because he's one guy that has gone through a lot. He's one guy who was lost, and we need these stories. We need these kind of stories to impact the lives of young people out here. Whether you're a pastor's kid or not a pastor's kid, you still have, there is hope for you for redemption. So Moses, there is part 2 for you. We have to plan for it, because right now I know that my director is saying that we don't have time, so we are going to comply with him, and we are going to invite you again for part 2, where we'll have a good time and talk more, right? So I want you to just look at the camera and right now just advise every young person out here, or even people who are over our age, and they need to know that addiction, you can recover from addiction.
Yes.
Whatever kind of addiction it is. Yeah.
I love the story about the prodigal son who came back to the father, and the father was very accepting and even threw a party for him. And this is for everybody who is living maybe a double life, or life that is very dangerous to you. You are into drugs, you are into maybe the new world order, beliefs and all that, but all hope is not lost, because I'm a testimony of the transformation that you receive when you enter into Christ. He gives you peace, He gives you direction, and He gives you fulfillment. And that I have noticed in every area of my life. So to you, all hope is not lost, because the people that are saved by God's grace are the people that people had given up on. So all hope is not lost.